Hey guys, Mike Weathers here. I am doing my first video database entry today. You can see once again I'm a little dressed up. I typically don't wear bow ties. I'm going to a Great Gatsby theme party tonight, so I've done my best to kind of put together that Roaring Twenties theme without having to buy a ton of new clothing. But if you can bear with me, I'm going to look down a little bit during my video today. I don't have a lot of notes, but I want to make sure I follow the outline that Dr. Hurst gave to us so that I can try to get as many points of credit as available. I imagine, like many of you, I want to get above that 92% mark and keep it in the A range. So when we're looking at fitness in terms of evolution, we're talking about a species' ability to pass on its genotype. Well, at least in reference to what the book says about what we are looking at specifically. It really is about a species' ability to pass on any of their traits to their offspring, and usually within a generation, but can be in reference to a population, can be in reference to specific individuals of a particular population. In regards to what we're talking about with the crickets, it's about these crickets' ability to pass on genes to their mates. And so in the upfront portion of the comic strip, fitness would be the sneaker male actually has better fitness than the big strong male that's lacking in parasites, that has this beautiful voice that he creates with his wings and is calling out to this other girl. And the sneaker male swoops in, steals the girl, passes on his genes, he has better fitness. Later there's also another example of that, and I'll mention that again when I get to the portion of the question in which we're talking about different things of natural selection. But regarding whether or not calling is particularly good for their fitness or bad for their fitness, it really is not. There are portions of this comic strip that talk about the necessity for this stabilizing selection. And really, if their fitness was decreased all the time and in all circumstances by the calling, all of them would stop calling. Their ability to continue producing offspring would either have to change completely or none of them would be able to do it. It kind of anecdotally and comedically makes the point for us within this comic strip that there would be just kind of, it would be the sausage fest for the crickets at the end of it, where all of them were just kind of lazy and no females would come because nobody was calling. And so it's neither good nor bad. It's bad in relation to the part where, after this guy is rejected by the girl, or not rather, but never gets the girl because the sneaker cricket comes in, he gets picked up by a bat, and so it reduces his fitness. But again, like I just mentioned, it's also good for his fitness because it's a way for him to attract females. Can't reproduce without the opposite gender, and thus it's also a good thing for their fitness. So I mentioned already that this is a stabilizing set of natural selection, and you could probably make a small case for it being some combination of directional and disruptive. But I really think that there's not enough information here to go off of, and so the only logical conclusion that we can make for this is to call it a stabilizing subset of natural selection. But there are several examples in this comic of the environment affecting the mating call. Actually, it talks about how it's warmer, it's in the summer, and so we know that crickets' mating season comes at a particular time of year when the temperature happens to be warmer and maybe the air is more dense, and there are a number of these things that will draw out more of the females, will bring more of the males into this singing or calling capacity. And so the environment has a direct effect. So if perhaps there were some situation in which there was a heat wave earlier in the year, you may see this mating come a little bit earlier in the year or out of season, which was kind of an abnormal thing. So there are a few different things for natural selection at work here. The first and most obvious is the sneaker male breaking in and increasing his fitness without having to call. We see a second example of natural selection at work in regards to later the point that the guy is making when he's teaching about how the calling is good and how that male under normal circumstances may not always have a sneaker in the way, and so he also is there. But actually one that I think is maybe a bit more abnormal and kind of it was the one that made me laugh was the ridiculously mutated Hulk cricket that has grown extra arms, has these giant biceps, kind of is flexing and scares off the bat, and thus increases his fitness because he's prolonging his life and may get to spend more time in his reproductive years. So I hope that this is going to fulfill everything. I hope that this is a general and well-liked video that y'all didn't completely snooze on, but I wish you all good luck in this assignment. I'll be watching all of your videos as the time comes.